Okay. So a very warm welcome, Chandra sir, for this webinar, and many thanks for accepting our invite and having taken your time out for this webinar. I also extend a very warm welcome to all the attendees out there. Thank you again for joining this webinar. And today's topic will be on how to engage students. And I think most of you know Chandra sir. So he's the most popular coach out there for CAT exams, most admired and respected coach, I would say. So I think we have heard a lot about Chandra sir from their students. So it's a pleasure having you, Chandra sir. And I think, yeah, probably uh, I would just probably take a few minutes for you to introduce yourself, your background, and how it all started. I know you have had multiple career paths. So how did you start Takshashila, and how did it all get started? So probably you can share us your experience.
Yeah. So thank you for inviting me. I am also as excited to be here. And while I know one of the attendees, Roshan Mukati, I know he's from Pune itself. I don't know whether the others know about me. Yeah, but you were very generous with your words, I must say. Thank you so much. Yeah, and yeah, to tell you about my journey, it wasn't a very planned. I wouldn't say that I had planned it right at the beginning. In fact, just like everyone, I started by being an engineer. I was from College of Engineering, Pune. It's a good college, so I was expected to be in the engineering field. And when I started working, I realized it right in the first year itself that. The bosses, all my bosses were from the IIMs, and they had a very different, let's say, kind of a setup. And I was in a workshop, all with dust all on my body and everything. So I thought, no, I want to reach that position, that boss position. And all the boss that I would interact, all three of them were from IIM Ahmedabad, Calcutta. So they sort of said, okay, yeah, you can try this path. So that is how the idea germinated. So I worked for 3 years before my MBA. Then I went to IIM Lucknow, did my MBA. And the MBA field is very glamorous. Yeah, the marketing world, finance world kind of pulls you towards it. And same was with me. So I also picked up finance. I got a pretty good placement in my college, a dream placement kind of a thing in investment banking. Yeah, one of the better firms. It was a pure research firm. It was called First Global. Shankar Sharma, if you know, he's supposedly a contrarian investor, a big bull bear, both. He plays all the roles actually. Yeah. So I was with Shankar Sharma, but then as it happens, means I was struggling in that field. I was not really enjoying a lot over there. I was fresh out of the college. But then I wanted a more balanced life, a more, more people-fronted work life. Yeah, and this was finance. It was just equity research. You're only supposed. It's very, what shall I say, single-minded focus of profit and buy, sell, what recommendations and so on. So I was not really enjoying the process.
Okay.
So I had to move. So the next choice that was there in front of me was Career Launcher, because I was sure they had come in campus placement. I'd become pally with them, with the founders of Career Launcher. So everything was going good. So I just left one day and joined Career Launcher. And the idea was business to start with, because this sector is an easy sector to begin with. There aren't a lot of boundaries. Capital required is not very high. I come from a very humble background as such, right? So you can't really think of investing huge capitals or so on. So the next best thing was this. So I picked it up. But as soon as I started in this field, I started enjoying teaching. And it was serendipity, or call it whatever it was like a calling for me. And after that day, I never ever stopped teaching. And the reason of leaving Career Launcher was also the same, because as you grow in an organization, you grow out of the role of a faculty, and you're expected to play the role of a management and so on. But I was more comfortable in the class. So that is how then I moved into my own setup, Takshila. 2006 we started. We did well. We did well. Yeah, teaching comes pretty naturally to me. I'm a very patient guy and so on. And thankfully, the students allowed me. So I've been
Yeah.
good. Yeah, that's a brief thing. And if you want online, you should I also talk about how I moved into online?
Yeah, probably. I think, yeah, I mean, probably your journey when you started offline or the center thing. And probably you can just tell us a bit about like what was the challenges you had when you started offline and what provoked or what kind of interested you to come online. So probably that journey would be exciting too for us to know.
Yeah, sure. Because this being more of, the audience being more interested in an online
Yeah.
mode of teaching or so on, I'm sure this would be better. So, yes, with 2000s, in fact, to be fair, Career Launcher was at the forefront of technology for a long time.
Yeah.
Right? Even much before this internet revolution or so on started, around 2001, 2, there was something called VSAT based training. So you had to put up
Yeah.
a big dish in front. So we had centers, we had put up dishes in front. We used to have a studio. I used to travel from Delhi all the way to Noida to go to HCL office, had rented out a space, and we had a studio over there. And HCL infrastructure we used to use to beam it across the country. So around
Okay.
2001, 2 itself, we dabbled a lot, we experimented a lot, and it was showing a lot of promise. But as you know, right, today VSAT is hardly present, very, very
Yes.
minuscule. Right? Yeah, means the retail revolution, the kind of, obviously to put a VSAT, you needed again money, that antenna costed money, you had to have a studio and so on, and it was not so personal. Today, everyone has a device and they learn on a device as such. So to go back, so we experimented that way. But when I went on my own, as Takshila, again, being with limited resources, I couldn't actually imagine, or I wouldn't say I had the vision or a big, large vision that I could get into online education or so on. So I started offline.
Okay.
Again, as I said, life has its own plans actually. So we were doing good over there, but we got very slotted. We got slotted to very few students in our immediate vicinity, locality. Those who knew about us, they would come. And but then the experiences that I had from the past in Delhi, Bombay, everywhere, I have reached out to a lot of students and very amazing, bright students and so on. But here we got slotted. We were not enjoying it a lot. So that is the time where, YouTube and so on started. 2010, 11 and so on, YouTube thing. So we started putting our videos over there and we became really popular over there.
Yeah.
Became really, this point will come again in a discussion when we talk of piracy actually. So we had all our videos, we put it online, YouTube, really available, and that time people would download, everything would happen and so on. But we became very popular in YouTube. Then we tried online, but again, before we could, before Learnyst or so on, there were very few players. Viz IQ was a player, but the infrastructure was really bad. The service was really bad. Nothing was there. Then Learnyst came in. I still remember a couple of calls you made to me, and yeah, it took quite some time for me to join the bandwagon. Yeah, but once, to cut the long story short, once I started, you'll not believe, in 2018-19, we had enough confidence that we shut down our center. Much before COVID, we shut down our center and we said we'll only be online, because I told you we got slotted only to 3 or 4 Symbiosis College, MIT College in Pune, nothing beyond it. Whereas a potential and a reach on online was immense. Like people knew us from across the breadth of the country. We had so many people coming from Madhya Pradesh and so on to Pune, only saying they want to come for Takshila. So, and Delhi one, no one would come, but a lot of people would call up from Delhi and ask. So we said, okay, if we are so reputed elsewhere and there is this facility now that, anyone and everyone can become have an online course, then why not go for it? So that is how we started, and there's no looking back after that. Today, we are a pure online player. We don't have any center, we don't have any office, we don't have any overheads. I'm sitting at my home, I take my lectures from home. Yes.
Great to know that, Chandra sir. So I think that was a very exciting story to hear. So, I mean, great to know that. And for people who have just joined now, like we just had a quick introduction from Chandra sir, like he just shared us his journey. Probably, I mean, for those who have missed it out, like we will be posting it out on our channels as well, so you can see his journey there. And yeah, I mean, that's Chandra sir for us. And yeah, again, as you all know, like he's one of the most reputed cat coaches out there. So again, thanks for coming, Chandra sir. So we'll get started with the question and answers here. And for people who have any questions to Chandra sir or to me, I would request them to put out the questions out there in the chat or the question and answer panel. So we'll be opening up for question and answers probably about half an hour to 40 minutes time, depending on how the conversation goes with Chandra sir. So we'll open up for the question and answers at the end. So please keep your questions flowing. So we'll get started with the questions to Chandra sir. So Chandra sir, my first question to you is, so as a content creator, I'm sure like you would have faced this challenge when you started out with your online courses. So if you can recollect those initial set of courses that you had to bring out, like from, you mentioned about YouTube, you were posting videos on YouTube. Obviously, it won't be more structured in YouTube, right? So you will be posting videos. So when it comes to online, you will have to structure it. You will have to package it as a course, consumable thing, or a more meaningful structure has to be brought in. So what challenges were there, and what psychological factors of the students you had kept in mind while you created your first set of courses?
Right. So, yeah, YouTube is limited in the sense there are only videos. You can only put videos, and it is more of a marketing. Let's say the idea was more of marketing. Using YouTube was more of marketing rather than as a learning management software. So the LMS, the whole LMS makes it very, very convenient for anyone to have a very structured online course. So in terms of the difficulty, if you ask me, technologically wise, I had hardly any difficulty. You know, it's a great platform, the Learnyst platform. We have it ready made. We can, you can make a course right away. So I did not face much challenge in that aspect. But the challenges that I faced is in online education, the offline. So I was very, in a class we were very popular, and one of the things of, as I said, what I liked in teaching was as instant gratification. The students are right in front of you, they are looking at you, you can see in their faces, you can immediately realize have they understood, have they not understood. You can make out, and then you can repeat, you want to, or so on. So and also you can see the appreciation immediately. But the moment you move to online, one is you miss this aspect. So, but okay, but there's no denying that this is here and it has to stay. So we started experimenting a lot. We started experimenting, and to be honest, our course, even till date, every year almost, we do keep experimenting, adding new things to increase the engagement of students. That's a single point. If you, obviously, Baiju, while it's a poster child of online education, but if you read just the yesterday or day before the new CEO's answer, these all edtech companies have only thought about getting students on board, but no one has really thought about how are they servicing them, right? So the servicing bit, engaging in online, is a very important and let's say a neglected field, and that is where I think so there are challenges. So what we did is there are two things that we started. One, we found the participation to be very low at the start. So student will join in, but his participation is less. So what thing that helped us, as if you say, what are the triggers that kept them on their toes, is one major thing is we had a detailed day-wise schedule. Okay. So apart from the class and everything, we even now, a student, when he joins in, every day he gets a schedule. What are the lesson and the exercise that he has to do? Second thing, the LMS gave us an opportunity to break the lesson into very small videos and exercises immediately after the video. So what happens is, in a classroom, it's very easy to keep students engaged for 2 hours for few reasons. One, they don't have a choice, to be honest. Yeah, once they enter the classroom, they're not going to get up in front of you and go. Right? They're not going to do that. So that's one of the thing, that they are captive audience. But there are many other things also. But in an online thing, that's not so. And we need to appreciate these changes, actually. So, for example, most of these students take these online courses at their home or so on, and there are distractions. There are family members, there are children, there are work. Mom will give us some work, will call you out. Anything can happen, right? So you need to understand this. So he can't leave a classroom, or if it's a 1.5 hour lecture that you're taking, he's not going to sit for 1.5 hours in the online world. He's not. We experimented with, we reduced it to half an hour, we reduced it to 15 minutes. Even that was very large, actually. So finally, we ended up with 5, 6, 7 minute videos and then exercises. So, it's easy. If someone calls you also or something, you can take a break after 5 minutes, after the lesson is over, check your message, then go back to the exercise. Secondly, we think that, the participation improves rather than just watching a video. He doing the exercise or so on makes a lot of importance. So we cut short all lessons into small parts. Every part is only 5, 6 minutes he's receiving. The rest of the 10 minutes, we tell him to spend 35 minutes. Just show up. When we say participation is low, is, people join in. It's easier to join an online course. And an offline course, they go to the center, they have a far more involvement, their friends are there, and therefore they come in. Here, he doesn't have to come up every day. So we saw that people are missing out on that. So we started saying this, telling them, or a message to our students is always, you don't even feel like doing a class, just show up. Show up for 5 minutes, and that 5 minutes will extend into 20, 25, 30 minutes. I'm happy with that. Yeah, you do this 3, 4 times, that's happy. I would be happy if he spends 35 minutes in front of a screen learning, and 35 minutes, 5, 10 minutes, he'll learn something, and the rest of the time he will participate and do something. And then lessons should have a very clear goal. So right at the start, we tell them very clearly, at the end of 5 minutes, you will learn such and such. You will learn how to find the number of devices. You will learn. So at the end of those 5 minutes, it's a very quick revision thing, that this is what you learned. So that is that. So these are things that help him to come regularly in the class, right? Then there's a follow-up tasks. Again, that is something that we added recently. So we added follow-up tasks in the sense of supplement the online thing along with, whether it's on the social media or in the groups, follow it up with more tasks. Due date reminders, these whatever the learning objectives and revision that you did in the class, post it in the group, so that if someone is not showing up is a big thing in this online thing, right? Coming to the class. Right? So that is what we did. Then we are trying to make it a little collaborative. So if I read the online, a lot of things about challenges of online thing, then one of the big things that students give a feedback is collaboration work. They like a lot of collaboration work. Now, some subjects are very easily adaptable to collaborators. So my message to most of the attendees would be, get as much collaborative task as you can as the subject allows. So if it's a stock market thing, let there be discussions on a stock market. If there's an accounting class, let there be a class put up and let students all participate and collaborate and make the balance sheet or find an error in the balance sheet. So do more collaborative work, they'll enjoy it more. That is the students' feedback that we get.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that is a community thing that you would have to build up again. Yeah, because that community, again, another challenge of online thing is each one is an island. Each one has become an island, sitting individually and so on. So we need to get that community thing, which a real class or a physical class does. So that is another challenge that we need to work on, getting the community built up. Yes.
Absolutely, Chandra sir. No, I'm actually, we have built a community feature, and we are working on extending this community feature to a better one. So as you rightly said, like we have seen this kind of a trend in the online, right? It's only those self-motivated students will get along, right? But majority of the students need some motivation, needs something to come back and learn, and always that kind of a peer study, or the peer kind of a study group is required, right? So I think community is something which can give us this kind of a virtual feel that the other participants are there, they are what they're doing. So yeah, certainly I think that's a great input to know. So moving on, Chandra sir. So next question is, again, I think you have talked about most of it, but just to iron it out, like, uh, do you think like there is something that a creator who is coming online, I mean, who is just starting his courses online, so uh, what is the number one, number two mistakes that they should avoid doing it? I know you have answered it, most of it, but if there is anything else, like, um, one is you have already talked about engaging the courses, making it more engaging, bite-sized content. Um, so yeah, of course, we have seen that. I mean, I'm answering a bit on your behalf, but so that you can answer the more complicated stuff. So yeah, I mean, just we have seen this doing people do upload a complete live session which they have done, which is really not engaging for a student at all, right? Nobody would really listen to that 1 hour of a lecture as a course content, right?
Yes.
So some of these are what we have seen, but anything else that you would like to add?
Yeah, sure. Yes, good. I must have missed out 1 or 2 points earlier, so I'll add it up here. Um, now I might disappoint a few teachers here, but then one of the pull of online is this asynchronous learning. Asynchronous means where I'm saying there's no live interaction or so on. It's a packaged course and it's just retailed, so it is put up online and it's sort of retailed. It's that you buy it, you learn it, you do it yourself, that kind of thing. It's very exciting, it as an idea, as a fancy idea, it looks, so I don't have to do anything. Where I used to take so many batches, interact with so many students at one time, I just make this, I can this whole thing, I record it and I put it up and I leave it, and people will keep buying and I'll keep earning. It's a fanciful idea, to be honest. Yeah, and it is very, very tempting. Even today, I have to continuously remind myself, hey, that is means it's a fairy tale. And while it might work in a year, it's not going to work always. So the one mistake is subscribing to this idea of somehow making it a product. It's eventually we are teaching, right? So I don't think so we can productize it to such an extent. You just take it, put it, and forget it. You cannot forget it. You would have to have that interaction or that building of community. The other error that which you have actually answered is replicating exactly what worked in a physical classroom as it is and putting it here. It starts with the idea of maybe there are classes which initially did that, a live class which is happening for a physical classroom. They just put a camera recorder, they recorded it with very poor audio quality, very poor the framing is bad, everything is bad in that, and they just put it online and they expect it to work. It won't work that way, right? So these are some big mistakes. Another mistake that I think that I'm correcting myself now is, in a classroom kind of a situation, the student, the learner. Somewhere in the online world, we don't know it, and the teachers or the educator is not taking enough efforts to know the learner. So I've started that now. Okay, let's know each other. So it's important for the educator to at least give a semblance that, hey, listen, I know Priya, I know Prakash, I know this ones, right? Or else they all are just names to us, and most of them come with a pseudonym or with a nickname that you don't even know who they are, right? So I think so. These are mistakes that one beginner should not. He should know his customer. He should know that there is interaction that is needed out of here, and he would have to adapt to the online teaching and cannot just do what was being done earlier.
Got it. Got it. I think just to make it more clear, so when you say know the students, so probably one best way, what you're suggesting is to do some live classes, call them for a live session, and then interact with them one on one or one to many in a group setup and get to know, right?
Yes, yes. Look,
Mm.
innovation is the key. Creativity, there's no limit. But a simple idea could be, even if it's a canned asynchronous product course, you could still have a welcome session. You could still, just thinking aloud, you could still make cohorts rather than student one joining one day, doing on his own, student three joining somewhere. You could make cohorts. I think so. That's the idea of even Coursera's when they say a course start date, a course end date. Even though they are just 2-3 months course, one can actually take it whenever one wants and do it as they wish. But then what they do is that they do a course start date, a course end day, and so on. So they could make cohorts. So you could have it completely canned, productized, but at least do a welcome session. At least do a welcome session, talk to them, let them introduce them, give them some, let's say, avenue of reaching out to you whenever they wish. So these are the things that I would say.
Great. Got it. Great. Um, yeah, moving on, Chandra sir. So, in terms of analytics, right? So, what kind of analytics would you look at to say if a student is kind of engaging with your content or not engaging with the content? Yeah, and probably what actions would you take depending on that?
Uh, uh, yeah. Now this is where technology comes to a lot of rescue. In fact, technology makes it much easier than a regular physical classroom kind of a setup. Uh, so the few things, as I said, showing up can easily be seen by login frequency that they have, or in gamification, there's something called streak. These people come 1 day streak, 2 day streak, 3 day
Yeah.
streak. Yeah, and I've seen people being really crazy about some uh, very trivial kind of a thing also. Like every day you have to click a photograph of a natural a tree or a flower or so on. Yeah, and I've seen students, they excited about it or so on, right? So you don't know what sort of gamification can actually increase. So I'm just saying, so maybe that's an extreme analytical measure, but then yeah, the streak of how frequently does he log in needs to be
Mhm.
checked up. And these things, as I said, when technology is there, you can have automated reminders, automated messages sent in after a day's miss, 2 days miss, maybe a week's miss could mean that his name is highlighted and the educator gets in touch with him. Hey, hello, what's up? Is something miss? Because feedback is also a very important process. Maybe he has something better to tell you. It works both ways. So this is that. His course progress is also closely tied up. But then, the frequency with which he logs in, as well as the course progress, both together go towards how much has he done, how much has he utilized. It is important because eventually, when mm, to be successful, it's not just that this one batch or one course runs. Yeah, you
Yeah.
need these students to talk about it, to go out, recommend, and hence it's important that they do this. That's also important for you as a business. uh,
Absolutely.
Exercises, assignment, as I said, there's a lot of exercise that we have put in. After every 7-8 minutes of video, there are exercises. So the exercises can very easily throw up a lot of analytics about uh, how much the student has comprehended, where does he lie, eventually it's a in a percentile range, where is he, so that we can give him adequate feedback at that time. These are the corrective measures that you can do. So if the score is less, it could still again be highlighted. You could have a doubt session planned out. Yeah, you
Mhm.
could have a feature of, do you want to connect with the faculty? You could have additional resources. There could be some exercises that are further given to a student who does not clear or does not do well in a particular assignment. Whereas if someone who's done well, he can just go ahead. And these all things can very easily be automated and so on. And in live sessions, then there's a very simple thing of attendance, how many sessions has he attended. And his participation, so the faculty would anyways get to know being in a live thing. So these are a few things that I keep in mind. And in terms of steps, yes, the reminders are important. There could be a nice framing up, or reminding the student of why he purchased the course, why he joined the course in the first place, if he is missing out. We have seen a lot of people, if there's no one who is following up, it's very easily to get you fall behind the schedule, not do anything. So you do need, and that's again coming back to that earlier thing of getting to know, means being in touch with him and not just leaving him off in that case, right? Reschedule.
Got it. Probably, I think giving some assignments and having them publish it or delivering it on time or something, those kind of things are also like probably would help students to be more involved with the course, right? So
yes, absolutely.
Got it. Great. So moving on, Chandra sir, like in terms of the interactive features, right? Like what kind of interactive features you have used to increase the course completion rate? Like when I say interactive feature, it could be like a live session, as you said, virtual or physical one. So any thoughts around that, like in terms of what things you would have suggest, or you would have done and you would suggest for the educators to do to increase the interaction?
Yes. Online course, I hope people don't make the mistake of online course being thought of just as videos. Videos is very easy. The first thing that comes to our mind when we talk of online course is videos. But then if we just stick to videos, we are hardly harnessing the potential. So here my simple mantra would be, variety is spice. Yeah, seriously, variety is spice. You have a lot of variety, it will break the monotonous part of it. Yeah, anything will get monotonous in the real world, in the online world. The screen fatigue or so on, what I call. So to cut it short, I think we have to use all aspects. Video is one, but then I would say PDFs. The learning objective or so on that we say can very easily be through slides or through PDFs. These are the learning. These are the check boxes that you have to do, right? So I would put that. Even articles, HTML articles or so on, I don't see that being capitalized or used as much as they should. Not everything needs a video. And remember, my experience has been that video is a little limited in terms of if a student has to go back and has to refer back to some point, it's very difficult in a video to go back and refer back, because even today when I go to my own video to search a question, it is going to take me quite some time to reach that point. Where is it in so many list of videos, at which minute, what it is. Whereas it's much easier if we have something like a text also. So don't ignore the text part. I'm saying quizzes are there. Links to blogs, so that could be a lot of links. So again, he watching just your own video versus once in a while he being given a link to a YouTube video of maybe the same subject matter, but someone else taking, is just going to add up to the his looking for, oh, this is interesting. It keeps coming up with something new, right? So when you're taking sessions, there are polls that you can keep putting up opinion polls, and I do some more things like in a live session. I think icebreakers are very important, because I still see online sessions, if you begin, there are, the first 5 minutes, there are people who join in late. So what do you do at that point of time? Just put in a puzzle, something related or unrelated, just to keep them interested. So that works very well for me. And another thing that worked very well recently is we have found that live sessions need not be limited just to the curriculum that you're doing. a little aside of the curriculum, maybe related. For example, what worked in our case is a lot of students feel a lot of pressure in CAT exam. So, meditation, just take a meditation. Somehow the attendance shoots up. It suddenly shoots up in that class. I say, wow, I take an algebra session, none of you come in. But I say a meditation session, all of you want to come in. Yeah. So, so like this related thing or life stories, that also. So some spiciness has to be added to all those things. Yeah. So these are how we try to make it a little more interesting for students.
Absolutely, absolutely, Chandra sir. I think I agree with you, and probably I think just to add on to what you said, like what I've also seen is like I think even in any other platform, if you see like Udemy or anything, there is a lot of downloadable materials that they give, which is apart from the videos, as you said, like it can be a cheat sheet or a template or whatever it is, right? As you said, like a reference link to other YouTube channels. So I think these kind of things, it really spices up the course content, makes it really more engaging, and it looks more kind of uh, fullness is there in the content, right? So much of things to do, and obviously, I mean, I think the student will also get excited in terms of going through those materials.
Yes.
Uh, Great, sir. Great. So in terms of other tools, right? Like, so for example, let's say you're using Learnyst for the set of curriculum or the live classes and those kind of things. But you also mentioned about engaging the students, right? Of course, we do have push messages, emails within the platform. But do you use any other tools apart from like Learnyst to engage the students? Like, is it Telegram, WhatsApp, or what has worked, and what would be your take on that?
Yeah. Earlier we had Zoom for live classes. Now, thankfully, Zoom is integrated within Learnyst, so that comes as a package only now. Yeah. So that subscription has reduced. As a community building, we do use Telegram a lot. Yeah. So a lot of discussions happen on Telegram. Between WhatsApp and Telegram, I think means the reason being Telegram is WhatsApp has a limit to the number of students, and we would rather want a larger group. So it was Telegram by default, though I think there are better features in Telegram, but that's another story. Let's not get into Telegram versus WhatsApp. But yes, we do have a very, very vibrant community there. And to keep it short, I've also used, as I told you about, I don't know if I said that, we do have an virtual office hours. We try to make it as close as possible to a classroom situation. So where in a classroom situation or an office physical setup, a student would come and meet a faculty, the same way here we have virtual office hours. So a student can actually come and, have a talk, means have an online interaction with the faculty. So for that, we have Calendly. So the online Calendly, where he can schedule a 15-minute or 10-minute session with the faculty. So we use that. I did talk about the day-wise schedule. So we use Google Calendar for day-wise schedule. So these are the three things that we use regularly: Google Calendar, Telegram, and Calendly.
Great. I mean, I think really impressed to know that Calendly link, because not many educators are so open to give their time, that too on a one-on-one level. So really nice to know that, sir. Great.
Yeah, it is. We do fear with the idea that, hey, listen, everyone will come rushing, but that's not how it happens. Students are reasonable. As long as you put up your office hours time, they'll not trouble you too much otherwise. And it's like they just need an outlet. Once they know that, it's not as if they're going to every day come and ping you up in that sense. They don't. Once in a while, it's okay, and it's good for you also to know the student. Yeah.
Great. No, I think good to know that it's really a good option. I think it elevates your brand. It helps you to know the students, probably their problems, and recovering from that. Great. So moving on. So I think nowadays, like you have mentioned this point before, so mobile is the thing, right? I'm sure like even our stats show more mobile usage than desktop now. Like it's shifted. So more than 50% usage, I'm sure like your students would have also been using on mobile. So When it comes to mobile, now that we know students are using mobile, so what optimizations or what kind of differences that you have adapted in terms of building the content, and or any changes that you would suggest or that you would have taken to make it more mobile friendlier?
Mm,
Optimizations to
yeah.
mobile, to fit into a mobile. Yeah.
Yeah, we cannot ignore mobile, and while a lot of us may not even understand it, if especially if we are a little from the older generation, but then we'll have to just accept it what it is. Like even I have been recommending students to study on a desktop or so on, but then that's not how it goes. And if I sit back and think, then there are definite reasons for it also, and it's not just for the ones who there are people who travel, and not just on site or even local travel, spending an hour, 1.5 hour in travel. It's much easier to learn on a mobile than somewhere. In 20 minutes break in between, everyone is on their mobile devices, and then also access to mobile and the mobile internet is much more than the Wi-Fi or laptop. So you can't ignore them. Thankfully, for me, I did not find a lot of challenge because we have the Learnyst app actually. Honestly, so the course design, what we do over there, a lot of those features are already there in the Learnyst app. So all of them have the Learnyst app, and they study from the Learnyst app. So I did not have to go out of the way to um, adapt or to customize anything for the mobile per se. The only little bit that I do, I don't know how major point this is, but then yeah, what I've started doing is I've started the questions that I have, the MCQs. I've started cutting them into sizable lines, which on the mobile screen look better. So we
Okay.
for our maths, like we have maths equations. So instead of a equation will follow on a new line, then the next one, and so on. So it appears. I think a visual appeal. Not many people lay as much importance, but looking at Apple's success, yeah, and so on, I think so. Visual or look and appeal and so on is a very important thing for everything. It's not only
Absolutely.
it's not only functional. So yes, so I go to that small extent of, especially in the mocks or so on, especially when there are MCQs or so on, I try to make a line break everywhere so that the line doesn't flow out of the screen, or it doesn't just fill it in and so on. So making those breaks. So small things like this I am doing, but nothing more monumental kind of thing. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Great. No, great to know that. I think these are some of the interesting things for us also to know. Like probably we can optimize these things automatically in our product. I think one other thing just wanted to add on this is in terms of the mobile thing. So even this offline download, that was one of the most requested feature in the market. So with offline download, as you rightly said, like the students who are traveling, they could download the set of videos and watch it securely from the app, right? So I think that was really helpful for most of the students. Yeah, I mean, as you rightly said, mobile has already taken over the things, like when it comes to consumption of digital content. So mobile is what most of the people would be using now.
Yes.
So for the audience out there, I know it's getting a bit delayed. So probably I'll just wind up with next only the last two set of questions to Chandra sir, and then we will open it up for Q&A. So I request you guys to put out your questions in the Q&A so that we can take it up. Probably we'll just try to wrap it up in next 5 minutes, and then we'll open it for Q&A. Sir, my last but one question to you is, how do we future-proof the course, right? How do we ensure that it is relevant and it's future-proof? So what would be your suggestion, or what would be the techniques that you would be taking for this?
Okay. Where I see is the courses are becoming far more personalized. We have an opportunity. It's not just the reach. The earlier the pull of online was reach. I could sit at one place and I could reach across the length and breadth of the country or the world also, for that matter. Now, what I see another opportunity arising is that this also provides me an opportunity to personalize the learning path very well. So I just reference to that, where the exercise result is something, and then you could give extra resource or another exercise or so on. But I think with a lot more can be done in learning path. You could some idea, I've always been discussing and telling you I would want to share some idea with you, Ranjan, and maybe I'll take this opportunity. Yeah, though
Sure.
I'll keep it short. It's, everyone has a different learning pace and a different learning start and end point. Someone might start at point A and might only reach till point B, whereas someone might be starting from point B and reaching much higher C. So I think so this gives me an opportunity to do that. And this is what our course is very extensive. So one of the feedback that I get is, for a good student, it's like he has to go through so many things. He says, I would rather prefer a much crisp thing. Now, so I see different needs being there. So I think so one of the way to future-proof or so on as we go along is, and I'm not even talking about something far crazy like using AI and so on. I'm just saying using very elementary analytical tools, having a different path. Okay, you did these things in such a quick time and with great accuracy. You might skip video 3, 5, 7 and might only do 7, 8, 9. Yeah, you are not able to get this. So don't do video 10 and 11, because that is far ahead. Yeah, it's miles ahead from what currently your level of preparation is. So reach video number 5, kind of a thing, or exercise number 5. So I think so personalizing the education is important here. Yeah, is the way forward.
Great. No, I think, yeah, I mean, that's certainly a good insight for us. Yeah, I mean, just to let you know that we are extensively working on analytics, like getting more student analytics and showing up these analytics to teachers and educators like you, and so that you can make more informed decision, as well as, yes, of course, once we have analytics, it can be plugged to communication, it can be plugged to the learning path. So yes, we have taken your input certainly. So I mean, yeah, we are few steps away, but going towards that. Thanks for that input, Chandra sir. So my final question to you, Chandra sir, like, can you explain how securing the courses from Piracy has benefited your business? So has it really helped? I think, yeah, you had initially mentioned about YouTube. So probably a closing note around that. Yeah.
Yeah, so as I said, it would come back. So while it was a good marketing tool, putting as the videos we develop, putting it on YouTube, but once anything is out in the online world, if it's available, there's no way that you can limit it further. So we have spent a lot of money in terms of subscribing to online services who they keep monitoring the Telegram channels, the Discord channels, but all these are reactive. And once the material is outside, it will be hawked at any rate, whatever rate, 300 rupees, 400 rupees. You cannot do anything. So I think so. It's better to take the corrective steps right at the start. So what Learnyst offers in terms of anti-piracy packs or the whole course as such. So I haven't seen a more, and I've evaluated a lot of services. Yeah, I haven't seen a more robust or a more sound course in terms of anti-piracy measures. So whether it is not being material not being downloaded, whether it's, I think so, what you call it, DRM technology, the DRM locked thing. Yeah, then monitoring the logins. You can monitor the logins of the students, the devices that they log in. You can watermark content. So I think that there's an ample of measures put in. And I still haven't seen anything where material can get leaked from Learnyst, and that's how you stop. Once it gets leaked, you can't do anything. So it's better that you take a corrective steps. So after our videos, YouTube videos were done, we have a fresh set of videos, obviously. And because I said now we reduced it from 30 minutes to 6 minutes, 7 minutes, and so on. So we have a new set of videos, new thing, and thankfully these are not there in the market, and that's what a student pays us for. Sure.
Great to know that. So thank you, Chandra sir. Thanks. I think I have asked you many questions and you have patiently answered everything, all the questions. And personally, I think there's a lot of insight that I got in terms of what we can do from the product side. So a big thanks again for spending your time, giving your valuable insights. And of course, the people who are viewing this video will obviously get a lot of insights in terms of how to engage the students, how to create quality content. So of course, I would say it's both a science and an art kind of a thing. So yeah, I think a lot of great insights, Chandra sir. So thank you very much once again from the bottom of my heart. Thanks again. And I think we'll open up for Q&A. So I would request the audience to put out the questions in Q&A. So we will just close these questions. I think there's one question. Can you share what strategies you use for Telegram?
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, how would you use Telegram probably to engage students, or what would you use Telegram for? I think that's the question.
What we do, we use Telegram primarily for doubt solving. In terms of students post their doubts, they click snaps from any material, every material, and they post it into Telegram for immediate resolving of doubt. And the whole community comes forward and answers it. Students also, the faculty members also. So these discussions happen over there. It also becomes a nice repository. So there must be like 4,000 plus questions being discussed in this. Yesterday, day before, I was checking the amount of questions that we have answered this academic year. There are some 4,000 questions that we have answered in the Telegram channel. So, but it's a demanding task. It's like you need to be there. Students post it, and students expect an answer or so on quite quickly. So the one strategy is, obviously everyone can't be there, but then we have faculties as doubt solving or so on dedicated only for Telegram. So they monitor the group and they reply over there. These could be junior faculty members also. Then they require help, they would forward it to the senior faculty. Then if needed, the senior faculty would come in. There are a lot of non-academic doubts that students keep asking, in terms of which, the sequence in which I should do the course, or else general venting out, I'm studying, but my scores are not improving. What should I do? So these are things that you need to address, because these are important concerns for a student. Yeah, it's not only about knowing the arithmetic, algebra, geometry, or so on. It's also about, someone hand-holding them and saying them, hey, listen, there's enough time, it will happen. So all these kind of discussions all go on in the Telegram group. Telegram group. I also earlier I was a little, circumspect about students not using their real identity. But then I think so. It helps. It helps somewhere. The online bullying or so on is a real thing. At least when I see the Facebook groups or so on, it is bad. Yeah, there are students who do not feel comfortable asking doubts. So somewhere this also gives them a little anonymity. They use a pseudonym and they put in a question and so on. I think so it all good actually, the way it goes.
Yeah, great. No, I think one just interesting question I had, because we also have this feature of discussion board in the courses, right? discussion forum that we have. So just curious to understand. So Telegram is something student prefer, or you prefer because it's more instantaneous. Is that the reason, or what exactly would be the reason to use a Telegram?
I have pondered on this, and I was, looking at alternatives. I think so. There are limitations. The limitation is primarily, as I told you, in a day we get about 100, 200 messages. Now one can't really go through all the 200 messages. So sometimes for a student also it's a little overwhelming. He might end up wasting time over that. So these are the drawbacks. But somehow I think so the ease. What I figured is the ease with which one can just post a picture. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to attach it. It's right where you type in. Right next to it, there's a clip, and you press the clip, and you can pick up from your gallery and post. I think so. This instantaneous kind of a thing, which doesn't require more than 2 clicks to go ahead and ask your question. I think so. This is what they like about it. It being on the mobile, and I think so. The instant messaging. That is why they call it instant messaging. This is what I think so. The students like about it. I would like something like more of a forum kind of a setup, but I don't think so. There are great forum softwares for mobile, because in forum there could be a little more structured thing, and the same question can be linked to an answer and so on. In Telegram it gets all very difficult. Things get dug down deep. Even if I have to search an earlier answer, it becomes a pain for me and so on. But then that is what students like, so we have to go with it. I think so this next question is a good question. I would like to take that up. Should I just go ahead and read it?
Yeah, please.
How much time did it take you to transition from offline to online, like setting up your account on Learnyst in 2018? Okay, it's a nice question, and therefore I'm eager to answer that also. We started with Learnyst, I think so, a little early. I think so 2015 or 16, I guess we must have started.
Yeah. I think 15 or 16 years, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So we started 15, 16, right? And transition time, well, we did an experimentation for 1 year where we had simultaneous. So we had a classroom coursing running, and after our classroom course, after a batch get over, we used to have one online course. So to be honest, I think this was CAT 2019. CAT 2019, we had physical classroom continuing, and I experimented with one complete online course, and there was enough prospects in that online course which made me confident. By that 2019 end, we shut down the center. So let's say 1 year I did, and that 1 year that we did, primarily it was a live session, live course, the online thing. So we did not have a lot of exercise material and everything. We did not have that online on Learnyst. We had our books and so on. So we did courier the books to the online students also. And we used to do a regular live session every night. That is how we did. But then we took that year to make all the exercises, upload all the exercises. So, but then our course is very lengthy. You also need to understand that. So if a course is limited in size, then I think so a couple of months is a good enough time to have all your course on Learnyst. But since ours was really lengthy, by lengthy I mean like we have about 1,800 videos. We have about 4,500 questions. So all this putting up does take a little more time. But if you have a reasonable course which can be done in a couple of months, then even uploading it will only take a couple of months to transition.
Yeah, absolutely. So just a follow-up question on this, like, what do you think is more time consuming in terms of creating the content? Like, is it videos? Is it question and answers? Or what do you think is more challenging and more time consuming?
It is videos. It is videos.
Videos. Okay.
It is videos. If you do a very fairly good job of a video, as in I was evaluating once for some wanting to make videos for a third party. If we go from the drawing board, means we sit back and we don't just start, and we don't, as I told you, not what we used to teach in a regular class, we don't just start that way in videos, right? So if I go into the drawing board and I say which example to take and where do we cut it, how do I make it that 5 to 6 minutes and so on. And if we go to the storyboarding and so on, then recording, and we want perfect production quality, also editing great things, then you'll be surprised, but the video time to the total time is almost 1:5 to 1:6. So a 7-8 minutes video is going to take you around minimum of 30-35 minutes to just make. So 1,800 videos of 5 minutes and so on, it's a challenging task.
Yeah, it's a tremendous effort.
I used to worry about uploading questions. I used to worry a lot about online, but then these days the feature of uploading questions is very easy because you have a template of Word or Excel. And the best part about it is it uploads the images and the equations and everything, it uploads on automatically. So that part isn't as challenging as I thought it earlier to be.
Great. No, great to know these things, Chandra sir. So I think there are no further questions, and also we have just hit the time. So great then. Yeah, thank you once again, Chandra sir. Thank you very much for joining this webinar and sharing all your insights, your experiences, and the deep knowledge that you have gained over the years. So I'm sure like many young edupreneurs would be using this knowledge that you have shared with us. So it would be, it was really nice having you. As I said, like it's a lot of learning for all of us. So thanks again. Thank you very much.
Sure. It was a pleasure being there, and I hope it was useful. Yeah, thank you so much.
Certainly. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you all for attending the webinar. Thank you.